Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast, a place where we focus on the business side of art to help you attract more customers, increase profits, and ultimately live a life of creativity and financial freedom. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and this week's episode is a small sneak peek into a training we did recently inside of the Artist Academy, all about finding and expanding your energetic minimum and maximum capabilities. This is not just like a visionary exercise, but rather a tactical strategy to leave you saying, okay, I want to make this, so I need to do this. What does it actually take? And I will say, so this is just a 20-minute short clip of an hour-long training that we did. And the tactical stuff, we got into it a little bit, but we really dove into it after here. And I say that because I have this like weird little fear in the back of my mind. This never actually happened, but like when I share things like this on the Academy, like trainings that we've done inside the Academy on the podcast, I like have this fear that members are going to message me and be like, why are you sharing this? Like, we're paying to have you coach us. So, and I'm like, I want to be like, no. Like, I'm giving, the gist of it, like something to think about, kind of like the what we're talking about, but then the how does get saved for inside of the Academy for them and my mental stability on that. And really, because they're paying me and they get to answer, I get to answer their questions that they're asking. And we had some really good questions that I also don't want to share on the podcast because I don't want to, I'd say their name and I say what they're struggling with. And it's just like, maybe we'll just keep it pretty general. That way it's more private inside of there. But yeah, I think you're going to like it anyway. Even though it is just 20 minutes, I think it just gives you something to think about because this is something that I was doing for my own business that I'm sharing with you about the general of what I'm doing. So I hope you like it. Today, we're going to talk about how to identify and expand your energetic minimum and maximum. And I'm not sure exactly where I heard the idea of having an energetic minimum and maximum, but I heard about it a while ago, probably on a podcast somewhere. And I've always thought about it and thought about this thing. So an energetic minimum is basically the minimum effort that you're conditioned to put in and the minimum results that you expect. So meaning if you've been doing art for a while, like I'd say more than a couple years. So maybe like if you're brand new at doing art, you probably don't understand this just yet. But if you have been doing it for a while, especially like you're used to making a certain amount per week or per month, and you're used to doing a certain amount of things. For instance, so I just wrote mine down because I was working through this myself and I just thought, hey, I should probably go live and show you what I'm doing because I'm figuring out what I want. Because I do this quite a bit. I'll be like, okay, where am I currently at? Where do I want to be at? Where are all the things? And so this is what I put down. And I really encourage you to put down your numbers as well, not just money numbers, but what it would take to get you there. You know what I mean? So like the action behind it. So for instance, mine is my bare energetic minimum is $10,000 months, which might be a lot for some people, or you might have thought that's low. I don't know. You have your own energetic minimum, right? And it's not just money. So I expect to make $10,000 a month no matter what. If I go below that, it is like, it would probably tear me to shreds in my mind, right? And so think about what it is for you, because I know that by the habits that I'm putting forth and like the things that I'm doing every month, there should be absolutely no reason that I should make less than that. And this is what I'm just minimally comfortable. This is like me being lazy months. And so what that consists of for me, it'll look very different for you, is 4 podcast episodes and daily questions within the Academy. Those are both very easy for me to do, very easy. And weekly social media posts. That's me posting probably once a week on social media because I know that I've been posting a ton. I've posted every day for a long time and then I've just been posting less and less. And now I can kind of get away with just like one time a week. And that's because I have referrals and I have all the things coming in. So I know that. But it's also probably 3 small to medium jobs. And so I actually wrote the numbers down of what the jobs look like as well. So the small to medium jobs is probably one $1,500 job, one $3,000 job, and one $2,000 job per month, right? And that's me working. I do 1 project a week typically. And so that's me taking 1 week off and then working 3 other weeks, but still working probably 1 to 2, maybe 3 days a week, maybe. And because I know that by posting once a week, like I'm going to get something, or by all of the effort that I've done previously, that I've worked my butt off before, I know that a referral will come in. I know that that's going to happen. And so I actually put on here too, my energetic average. So that was my minimum. That was my bare minimum. If I make to that less than $10,000 a month, it's like, I would be very upset. Like that is just, it's not happening. Like it's just not happening. And so what is yours? If you want to comment here, I would absolutely love to know your numbers as well. Like what is your energetic minimum with the money that you're making per month? And then what is your effort? So what kind of efforts are you putting in as well that just kind of come naturally? We're not like over committing. We're not overexerting ourselves. It's just bare minimum. What is your number? And because I would love to see everybody else here who is also commenting and watching, I would love them to see your number as well. And let's just see the varieties of numbers on here. And sorry, I should also say my energetic minimum, like the other half of so I have 1,500, a 3K, and a 2K. You're probably like, that doesn't equal 10,000. It's because I have I have memberships within the academy, and I also do other trainings and stuff like that. That's the other half. That's where the podcasts come in, and that's where the daily questions in the academy come in. So it's a little bit of work, not a ton, and I like it. So it doesn't really feel like work, and doing lives like this. So I would love to know what it is for you, what kind of effort you have to put in. How many days a week are you working to work the minimum? Like minimum to pay bills. And then I also put on my energetic average. So what I average, it's decently easy for me to make 15K per month. And what that is, it's the same thing with the academy. So 4 podcast episode daily questions within the academy. And then if I'll probably get 3 mural jobs, but they're about $3,000 each. So still taking off 1 week per month, but I'm just focusing on getting a little bit just higher of a mural rate. So not the $1,500 jobs, more of the $3,000, and having 3 of them in 3 weeks. Probably still working 2 days a week in that. And that's my average. That's also decently easy. That's kind of what I expect, but that's putting in maybe just a little bit more work. So I'm probably posting to social media multiple times a week. So not just once, multiple times. And I should also say, this is also posting to social media through all the platforms. I post on Instagram, but that also gets cross-posted on YouTube, LinkedIn, I do Twitter, we do Facebook, all the things. So it's one post that gets cross-posted. And then I have on here, and so write down what your minimum is, write down what your average is. And if you're watching this or listening to this later, feel free to just stop this and make your own lists. Because I think just putting it down on paper realizes what we're capable of mentally so that we can stretch it. Okay? So I'd love to know what your average is. So my energetic maximum. What is the maximum that I have made? And this is and the energy that I put out. So it's not just numbers, it's the energy, then the effort with it. And to me, it's $30,000 months. I've done that several times. I'd say every year I have at least 2 $30,000 months, which makes up for the times that I do $10,000 months when I'm like lazy in January. But I just kind of expect that to happen. And usually for me, that comes in around actually August. Also right now, and October. Those are also really busy. And usually those are my busiest times. September is usually pretty good too. November is pretty good. And I was listening to a podcast the other day who was talking about, say you haven't hit your goal so far. It's like we're a little over halfway through the year and you're kind of bummed, which I kind of am because my energy levels were very low for a while. They're starting to get better. And I was like, okay, I think I'm going to make my 200K this year, but there's a little bit of doubt. So I don't know, like I'm going to have to step it up though. Like I'm going to envision this 30K month coming and I'm going to do the effort. So I wrote down what the effort is. But this podcaster that I was listening to, they were like, I usually have the best months of my year are usually towards the end, usually in the last 6 months. And I was like, you know what? So are mine. That's so weird. Sometimes summer can be pretty banging, but usually, so for anybody out there, like if you're like me and maybe you're not exactly where you want to be just right now but you want to hit that big yearly goal at the end of the year, just know I'm there too. And I think it's common. I think it's common for things to be a little slow starting in January and February. And then you can always like right now, literally decide right now that you can make double than what you did last month. You can do that this month. And then by the end, you're going to hit your goal. Because that's the mindset I've changed. I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to like really make up for what I've slacked. I'm like, no, that's totally possible. That's totally possible. Anyway, so I wrote down exactly what my energetic maximum for 30K months is. And that is still 4 podcast episodes, daily questions in the academy, but maybe we'll do like a challenge, which we're doing. We're starting the Series 6 challenge like we do every August, September. And we have a challenge to get people going. And also I would do 3 to 4 social media posts per week, which is totally doable. So 3 to 4, probably more on the 4 end, and 4 to 5 medium-sized mural jobs. And I wrote down specifically 3 5K jobs and an $8,000 job. I don't know. Those are just the numbers that came to me. Granted, we live in Springfield, Missouri. Getting a 5K job is pretty good. Getting a 10K job, way more rare. Getting anything above that, it's just rare here. And I have a job coming up that's a $9,000 job. So I'm like right on there. And a $5,000 job this month. So if I could just get one more $5,000 and then maybe just a little one, then we're basically right on there. And then I just had to step up my social media game a little bit. And because it really is, there's definitely something to the energy that you put out. It makes people feed off of it and they give that energy back. And I want to give you an example. Actually, I wasn't planning on sharing this example with anybody, but it's the perfect one. So my friend, Samantha Cox, you guys have probably seen her and some have met her in here. So she does the Mural Company products where she makes products and she has this palette coming out. And for the last kind of couple months, like we've both just kind of been like in like a, like we've been like going through the motions and, decently productive, but nothing what we've like could be. And she started to up her energy with the products and started coming out with the palette and like really doing a lot of stuff around that. And I saw that and I was like, oh, that reminds me, hey, I'm going to take some photos with the palette that she gave me and give them to her. And maybe I could take videos and give them to her. But I've had the palette for a while that she gave me and we're testing them out. And because her energy wasn't very up on it, my energy wasn't either. But seeing her being more excited to get this thing out and sending it out to other artists and like testing it and all the things, like you can see her excitement level increase. I was like, oh, like it increases mine for her. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, let me help her. Let me get in on this too. Like that's awesome. And it's also just very contagious, especially since we talk often, like text daily and snap daily. But yeah, it's just the energy like with that, but not just with close friends. I think it's the same on social media, seeing her post about that, seeing the Easy Easel post about all of the things that she posts on Facebook. If you guys don't follow the Easy Easel, she's a great one to follow because she's always posting about things. Lacey Crime lately, just shout out. Her videos on Facebook have been so good that I'm like, man, I should post more. It's like, it's contagious. And I think it's not just that way artist to artist. I think it's that way with your art as well, because I've been very excited about this Roger the Raccoon thing. And there's a whole live inside the Academy here about Roger the Raccoon. I'm not going to go into details because I've already done that with you and like how I got it started, what we're printing it on and the whole details. Go check it out. But because I'm excited about that, I think like other people are too. I post about it in the local Rogersville groups. I post about it everywhere. I talk to people about it and they're like, that's really cool. Like they recommend for me. Like I show up on my stories excited about it. And because people see me excited on my stories, people, my friends who I haven't talked to in a long time, message me and say, hey, you should go to Rogersville Pharmacy. I know Jim there and he'll for sure do this with you. I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, can you be my referral? Sure. Let me hook that up. Like people see that and they want to help. And if I was just over here, like having it still an idea or not posting on my stories, not sharing it in the local Facebook groups, like all the things, like, I mean, people would start to know about it. If I was going door to door, that would be some effort, but I get way more back when I post about it and like just share on social media. That's why one of my things on here, it does correlate. It does correlate the amount that I show up on my stories and posts and all the varieties of different places. It does correlate with jobs and things like that. So yeah, so I also put on here, so say we want to stretch our energetic maximum, right? So your maximum is the maximum amount that you have made in 1 month. That's your maximum. You may think that you can do more, but if you haven't actually done it, then I don't know, like it's still kind of a dream, right? And so expanding it, so your current energetic maximum is what you think you're capable right now because you've done it. And it's not in the future, oh yeah, I'm going to make 100K next year, like how, like it's right now. And so let's think about stretching that and what that actually looks like. And for me, I did this exercise and I was like, what would I have to do to make $50,000 months? To me, that's a bit of a stretch. To me, that's a goal that I think I will hit one day, maybe, probably. That's like I don't know, like you can kind of hear like the uneasiness in my voice, right? I'm like, that it sounds good, but is it possible? Like, so I wrote down what I think I would have to do based on my minimum, average, and maximum. Like, what's my like stretched goal? And I wrote down, let me look at it. So what if I did? So with that, I would not just have to get more murals. I would have to grow the academy too. What would it take? Because I'm juggling 2 businesses, which I really like there because it's like keeps things interesting, but it's kind of 2 different game plans. So that's kind of a stretch to me. Or I could just focus on growing one. Yeah, I could probably do that. But when I wrote it down, I was focusing on growing both. So I just want to share exactly what that looks like for me. So that would be maybe 6 to 8 podcast episodes, which some of those would include going on other people's podcasts and saving the time to do that and being guests on that. And that way other artists get to know me. It would be 5 to 7 posts per week. And not just posts about my art. I would go into, there is a artist mural group, a mural artist group here on Facebook. And that is just gold for referrals, just getting people who need help in their mural business, because that's what my bread and butter is. So I was thinking of, and you guys, I'm totally up for suggestions. Anybody who sees a post in that mural group, if you recommend me, like my book, that can actually help them. I'm actually like, it's not just advertising. It's like if they ask a question about pricing, be like, hey, Andrea has this podcast episode about pricing. Or if they're like, how do I get started in murals? Hey, Andrea has a book about how to get started in murals. Here it is. If you tag me, I want to do some kind of referral program to where I send you like a $5 Amazon card, or I shout you out on my story or something. I'm open. Let me know what you would want, because you guys are like my people. I would have to set up some kind of referral program within the academy. Also, I was thinking for referrals with you guys, if you have an art friend who wants to sign up for the academy, I thought about doing for the 4th quarter of this month, to where if you have a friend that signs up and they sign up for $37 a month, I pay you 50% of that. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know, because I have to do some back end in that. And you'd have to sign up with a profile, and it's only good for a certain amount of time, like 3 months. But a referral program like that, to where, and if they stay in for 6 months, you get 50% of what they stay in for. And so again, it's like we're referring people that actually need help, but it's paying you back for referring it. So those are my 2 ideas for that. Ideas that I have not put into action, but I might for the 4th quarter. So, and just to maybe try, like, what would it look like if I made like November my 50K month? So things like that. Also, so on the mural side, I know you guys aren't interested in growing a mural artist group, but I just wanted to share, just be candid. So what I would need for mural jobs is I would basically need 4 $10,000 jobs would be about it. So if I'm growing the academy as well, have a little bit there, but also about 4 $10,000 jobs. And I don't know, like that just seems like a stretch. Not that it can't happen. I'm like itching. I'm nervous even just saying that. Not that it can't happen, but man, because a $10,000 job, I would need to hire people on. And I don't mind. I like hiring people on. I've had a couple conversations with or with people who want like $20,000 jobs here lately, but that involves, there's a couple of them that it involves travel. And so it involves me being away. And so when I wrote this down, getting 4 $10,000 jobs in Springfield would be kind of a stretch. I think I could do it, but I think I would need to travel. And that might be a total limiting mindset for me, which I might need to work on. But based on the past of things that I've done in the past, I've gotten several things here, but the majority, like the $9,000 job that I'm doing next week, I'm going to Kansas City for it. And it's just going to take, like, I just don't know that I'm willing to do that with having a toddler at home. So, but I think it's fun to create those just expanded energy maximums and just to kind of like that, the saying of, shoot for the moon and then you land amongst the stars kind of a thing. I remember there was a poster of that in my high school and it just stuck with me. And that's kind of how I've always thought of these. Like that would be really cool to do a $50,000 a month. But if I do a $40,000 a month, that would also be really cool. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. So now let's talk about maybe places to post and specifics of how to get that done. And let's talk about ways to actually like exactly what to post, because I was thinking like I could tell you now and I could tell you things to post, like my schedule and what you could do, but I think several would be like, that's a great idea, but then maybe not do it. So I thought about doing something where we start like January 1st and we get a small group of us and I help you individually create like 2 months worth of Instagram content, Instagram, Facebook, all the platforms. That way you just have a set plan and then you can kind of just copy paste that for the next 2 months, but insert new videos and new photos and whatnot. So let me know what you think of that. Like we're going to go over some like social media posting and places to get mural jobs on this last part of it, and just sell prints and all the things. But let me know if you would like that. There's going to be a fee to it. It's not going to be free because we're going to take a small group of this and I want to go and individually like have you send all of your photos and whatnot to me in a Google Dropbox folder, and I put stuff together and then I give suggested captions. You can slightly change, but I just want to set it up to be like, okay, Monday you're doing this, and then on Wednesday you're posting this, and then Friday you're posting this. And then the next week it's like, okay, these are Tuesday and Thursday posts. And then again, it's like giving 2 to 3, sometimes 4 posts per week, going through the stuff you've already done, editing videos together in a new way, maybe taking some trending sounds and adding them in, and just something, because I can do that really quickly. And so I thought about doing that for you. So let me know if you are interested at all, and I can help you with captions and all that. But yeah, okay, let me go to the Facebook group and let's just start in with some questions and whatnot. Okay, that's it. I'm cutting it off. No more of this. So if you're interested in trainings like this and you want to ask questions live specific about your art business, or you want to hear exactly how I shared what social media posts to do, how often, when, what days, what times, all of the exactly what to say, what I say, I read them posts that I post in different Facebook groups, all the things. I'm very an open book to everybody. And we ask questions like somebody had a question that was she was really struggling because she was doing emails and outreach and posting. And she was like, I'm stuck. What do I do? And so I gave her some advice like, okay, no, this is your next step, 100%. And she's like, thank you so much. And I know for a fact she's going to go do it, because if you show up on lives like this, you're really dedicated to your art business. And if you ask questions, you're really dedicated. And so I know she's going to go do it. And I know she's going to go be great. So yeah, if you want more lives like this, trainings like this, art business talk, I love to talk about it. And I'm amping up what I'm putting out for the fourth quarter. So here we are. Okay. So let me know what you think about this week's episode. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Artist Academy podcast. If you like this art and business talk in audio form, then I want to invite you to get my book. It's called Mural Money: How to Grow Your Art Business from Zero to Six Figures. So starting from the very bottom, like you don't even have a website yet. You have nothing. You're not sure where to go, and you want to make money with a paintbrush. You want to have your creativity pay the bills. I have taken so much of the advice that I've gotten from artists from this podcast. I've been doing one episode for over 5 years now. So many interviews, so many good bits of advice. So I've taken the best of that advice and put it in my book, along with so many stories and lessons learned that I've had in my own mural career of just how I would go back and save a whole lot of time if I just knew these steps. It's a 15-hour audiobook. And so if you like this podcast, if you're listening to interview after interview, I know that you're going to like the book. So go to muralmoney.com. It's for anybody who wants to grow their art business with a paintbrush. Muralmoney.com. And I will see you next week for another episode of the Artist Academy podcast.